Nick Ellicone, our strength coach, and GC Yeri, our other strength coach, helping me get warmed up. It was awesome. I think it was a strike. The camera views are not great. We're still looking for another view of me actually hitting the catcher. But no, it was fun. Coach Harlip's a unbelievable human being, man. He's so awesome. I can see why they've had the success they've had, and just speaks to what kind of person he is.
So we get that tape. It's going to show a strike.
The film should show strike. The film should show strike. It was fun.
Which this defense really established an identity last year.
Yes, sir.
Have you been able to sustain that throughout the spring?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got some young pieces on the back end. You know, we are really talented up front. We have a lot of experience up front, and so like I guess the culmination of the spring ball is trying to develop and grow those young guys on the back end. Our front, I think our front's going to be pretty good. You know, obviously as the play caller, I'm going to rely on those guys and lean on those guys, and I think they can handle it. And I do think that we've grown. You know, I do feel like have the mindset that we can be just as good as we were last year.
Do you miss much for not having a spring game, real game format on a Friday or not? Is that a big deal or not?
Nah, not really. I mean, we've had two pretty good scrimmages prior to, that were true games for us, and so there's been a lot of growth in those. We've seen guys constantly get better every single scrimmage, and so I mean the spring game is probably more so for you guys than for us, right? Laughing, but no, it's I mean, obviously you want to get them in the stadium. You would like for fans to be around, so the guys who never experienced that can kind of feel it. But we've had some really good competitive scrimmages so far, and so it's been refreshing. But we would have loved to have the spring game. Obviously they end up moving in, and so that'll mess with some people's schedule. But anytime you can go out there and play and put on a show for your fans, I mean, that's exactly what we want.
Aaron, how competitive is that playing time in the secondary, Ben? And how far have you guys gotten in evaluating what you got back there?
Oh, it's very competitive. It's extremely competitive. I mean, I don't want to tell you who I would start going into the day, but I will say this. I'm extremely encouraged by the guys that we brought in. I'm extremely encouraged about the guys that are here from last year. Do I think that we can continue to push those guys? Absolutely. I mean, again, like I'll say this and I'll say it every year, right? Who would have thought that Devin was going to be the player? Who would have thought outside of this building that Devin was going to be the player that he was capable of being until it happened? So we know experience is the best teacher. Right? A lot of these guys don't have a lot of starts under their belt, and so part of it is just going to be trial and error, just in terms of them getting in a game-like setting. Because, some young men, they are really good in practice, and they may get under the lights and may not be as good. I mean, we hope so, but the reality of it is sometimes those lights will make a man out of you, man. Like they really will. They kind of change things. Obviously we want guys to how they practice is how they're going to play, but sometimes the lights can be too much for a player, and so just constantly trying to coach them through those moments and those avenues, and hopefully that we can groom the proper talent and groom these young men to have success when they're on the field.
You guys played a lot of man last year. I'm just curious what the balance is with maybe less experienced secondary that's a spring informed you about how much you play man.
No, I think part of the reason why we played man is because we had the guys. Year one, we probably played a little more zone because we felt like we had the guys to play a little more zone. And so every year it's going to be a tad bit different, right? We've tweaked some things schematically, to kind of help ourselves, but I would tell you it's going to be a game by game thing. I mean, I think the ultimate goal is to keep your opponent from scoring points. However you do that, right? Whether it's a disguised look or whether it's bringing a lot of pressure or whether it's dropping in some capacity, playing a lot of zone. And so the ultimate goal is to keep points off the board. And do I think we have the ability to play man? Absolutely, 100%. But you just never know how a young player who's inexperienced is going to handle that as we kind of progress throughout the season.
I think with experience kind of being at a premium,